Let us now begin deconstructing choreography of the descent. In the first section, there are a series of poses. The first pose involves standing on the left leg while the right leg raises. Now in this pose, it is important to not use the hip to hike up the leg. By that, you see how your right hip is helping you lift this leg higher. What I would rather have you do is drop this leg. That way your hip lowers and centers, aligns itself better. And then using this as your base, keep it facing forward. And now just twist this part of your body to face the left side. So the pose starts to look like this. So you start out facing the front with the upper part of your body, and then you can just twist to the left side. Your eyes can follow. If you use your hips to hike this, you carry the tension all along this side. You feel it in your shoulders and the neck. You don't want to do that. Now let us look at the next position. From there, while you brought your leg around, it is important to not drop the weight of your body onto the back foot. What I mean by that is, from this position, holding the weight centered on your left leg, swivel the leg while your weight remains on the front leg. The back leg just places gently like a feather, dropping to the floor, and then you can lift and raise your head to make that line. Can we try that? Drop that hip. Now swivel. That was much better. Yes, so what you also want to do is keep the hips open. Now, if your hips are not open, you are not going to be able to make the line. In order for this position to register, the hips have to be very open. So use that leg on the floor to help you open and get the lift in your pose. Let us now look at the third pose. So in this pose, the thoracic spine, the top part of her spine, is not giving her enough rotation. So where I want this to be is from this position. It is important to keep the back very long as you are moving, and it is only the leg that is shifting you, while the back is held nice and erect. And then here comes the rotation. So the rotation of the spine needs to be sufficient that you can get length in your pose without feeling a collapse even on this side. So what I don't want to do is this. I want to get length even on the side on which I am bending, and a complete rotation, so the neck, this shoulder, all of it is relaxed. Moving on to the next pose. From here, you're going to raise the right leg. Now, in any standing position where you are on one leg, the weight is centered entirely on that one single leg, and this other side should not feel the strain of it. So trying to lift the leg too high can often involve the hip. So watch for the hip alignment to always be square. The 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock positions have to be at the same plane. The leg is placed, the foot is placed behind the knee, and the back needs to be absolutely straight but leaning forward. So it's important to have this orientation where the back leans forward but is supported. So it is what I call a broad back. So I don't want to see an arching of the chest. So that will look something like this. So in this position, it is important to maintain stability on the standing leg, and imagine a rod that is coursing on my back from the tailbone all the way going up and going straight over my head. That should still be in a straight line. So from here we move on to the next pose. Stepping forward, you are getting into a stance which, depending on the length of your body, can have a straight leg or can have a bent leg. However, in this you're using the back leg to hold the weight to lift it up. This leg is not going to just collapse. So use the muscles of this leg to keep it up, and once again use your core to give you a lift that allows you to still keep the face oriented a little forward rather than looking completely downwards. So depending on the length of your leg, you might find that for this pose it might be better to bend the leg in this orientation, and you can get as high a lift as you like. From there we go back to a position that we have visited before, which is raising one leg forward. Once again, remembering, if I can have you do this pose in this orientation. Once again, remembering not to lean back but to maintain the back straight, for which often you might have to lower this leg so you can still maintain the back straight and with only the head turning towards one side. So let's review all of the positions in the first section. Reviewing: avoid hiking your hip and twist from the thoracic spine. Keep your back vertical in this first pose. Keep the weight on the front leg while moving and align the hips forward. Twist from the thoracic spine and don't collapse the bending side. While bending forward, keep your hip to head in a straight line. Actively lift your back leg and engage the core to raise the chin. Align the hips forward and raise the leg to accommodate the hip alignment, and twist from the thoracic spine. Continue watching the next part of the descent deconstructing choreography on the inner circle.